Leeds put paid to that proud home record in their last home game. St Helens hope to make it 2 home defeats in a row. This is the St Helens side that has won 7 matches in Super League, but perhaps crucially have lost 2. 1 draw, that epic last week against the London Broncos, scoring plenty of points, and that is the second best defence in Super League. Only Bradford Bulls have got a better defence than that. Julian O'Neill's their top tackler, and the man who goes forward, there he is, Apollo Perolini, emerging from the dressing room just now. And Saints getting into a huddle to complete their preparations. They know chips are down, and they know that Andy Platt, the brand new Salford captain, will be desperate to get a victory against his former club. He left them for £140,000 and went to Wigan in 1988, won just about every honour in the game since. But Andy Platt, the new Salford captain, would swap it all for victory here tonight against the Saints. 6-4 in terms of wins and losses, and their defence is a little shaky, so we can maybe expect some fireworks. They're finding tries very hard to come by. Only Castleford have scored fewer, and Castleford are the foot of the table. Battasini is the man from the wing who goes forward so well for them. The Salford team then, Gary Broadbent at full-back, Sini, Rogers, McAvoy, Cousins, Blakely and Lee. Forwards, Platt, Edwards, Eccles, Savelio, Faimilo and Hume. And on the bench, Borber, Randall, Burgess and Watson, coach Andy Gregory. The Saints, Prescott full-back, Arnold, Haig, Matautia, Sullivan the three-quarters, Hammond and Goulding. Forwards, Perolini, Cunningham, O'Neill, Pickavance, McVie and Morley. Bench, Busby, O'Loughlin, Northey, Anderson, coach Sean McRae. And the match referee is Russell Smith, who has had a dreadful journey across the Pennines to be here. He's been on the road for about 4.5 hours. There's been an almighty crash on the M6 motorway, apparently, and Russell Smith was caught up in that. Thankfully, he is here safe and sound, and he's ready now to start this match. This match that St Helens really have to win if they are to maintain any hopes of retaining their Super League crown. We're live at the Willows. Bobby Goulding kicks off, and Salford will have the first run at them in the shape of Essini Faimilo. Good charge downfield by Derek McVie and Kieran Cunningham. Salford in red and white, the Reds. St Helens this evening in their chain strip. And Salford attacking from left to right as we watch. That's their loose forward, David Hume. Peter Edwards was the dummy half, and that's Cliff Eccles, their hard-working prop forward, hauled down by Carl Hammond and by Julian O'Neill. That's a lovely break from Nathan McAvoy, but that was a great tackle on him by Derek McVie.
It had to be as well. The tall centre McAvoy really stepping through. Very feeble defence by St Helens.
Here's Mark Lee, former Saints. Darren Rogers steps away from Sullivan. Fattasini down the wing. Sini had to be tackled and was by Prescott. It was the power play. They ran it on the last. It's the turnover.
Beautiful play by the Salford side. They kept that ball alive, sucked in the tight Saints defence, got the ball out wide to Fattasini, but full credit to the fullback Steve Prescott. He was equal to the task. It was an amazing tackle head on.
Steve Prescott, the St Helens fullback, listed at £200,000. He wants his contract upgrading, but Derek McVie has dropped the ball under pressure. Salford have got it back. This is Cliff Eccles. He takes the Reds to the 20-metre line.
McVie claiming he had the ball spilled out, taken out by Steve Blakely. Referee Russell Smith would have none of that.
Edwards is the dummy half. This now is Andy Platt charging downfield. Halted 12 metres short of the line. Edwards to Lee. St Helens moving up quickly. That's a lovely jinking run from Steve Blakely. And McVie doing well to haul him down with a little bit of help from Julian O'Neill. Lee's attempted kick through his charge down. Salford have got the ball back. And what's more, they have 6 more tackles. Great pressure here on the champions' defence. David Hume.
Was a nice kick by Mark Lee, but Danny Arnold had the opportunity to regain possession.
Faimilo on a diagonal run. Faimilo with the strength to get within a metre of the line. Desperate defence here from St Helens early on. It's with Mark Lee. Oh, and that was touched by Pickavance. Was it, or did it just go to ground? Yes, it was touched. It's another 6 tackles here for the Salford Reds. They're 8 metres short of the line, with Blakely, who switches the direction of the attack. He gives it to Familo. Familo is all wrapped up by Andy Haig. That's good scrambling defence from Haig, and Salford have had to be pushed back about 10 metres. Edwards from the dummy half. Scampering run from the Kiwi hooker. David Hume.
Look for the tricks from Lee.
There is Lee. Little dummy back on the inside to Blakely. And desperate defence again. That was O'Neill once again, who just managed to hang on to the shirt tails. Lee, long ball out wide. Cousins gets the try. Phil Cousins with the try for Salford. A dream start for the Salford Reds. And St Helens on the rack. And Cousins finding the way through. Incessant pressure, and it tells.
Beautiful play. The sliding defence was caught narrow. Look at that. Lee misses out 3 men, and Cousins an open run to the line. Danny Arnold was sucked in. The sliding defence was caught tight in. Long ball out wide. Danny Arnold said, uh-oh, bit of trouble here. And it was. An open run there for Phil Cousins, but well engineered. Long ball from Lee. 1-2 out wide. Danny Arnold nowhere to be seen. What a superb effort from Salford. What a wonderful pass from the little halfback Mark Lee. Well taken by Phil Cousins. What a start for the Reds.
And it's the first time that Phil Cousins has appeared in the starting lineup since the semi-final of the Challenge Cup against St Helens, when they were beaten by 50 points to 20. Phil Cousins celebrating with his second try of Super League, the former Academy international. Now England international, Steve Blakely, with a difficult conversion attempt from way out there on the touchline. That's got chances. It's got more than chances. It's got 2 points. Salford ahead by 6 points to 0.
There's Arnold. He's broached over the top, and you can see he's left all on his own. Ball out wide. Cousins was there. Nothing to happen. Arnold was caught short, but what a beautiful pass to that man from Mark Lee.
Phil Cousins with his first ever try against Castleford in Super League in March. And he is now over for his second of 1997. Well, revenge is thick in the air here at the Willows, because as well as that Challenge Cup semi-final victory by 50 points to 20, Salford also lost 19 points to 12 at Knowsley Road in April. That, though, was a swinging arm on Ian Pickavance by Peter Edwards. It caught him underneath the chin, says Russell Smith. Penalty.
Big swinging arm as well. Well spotted by Russell Smith. Got to keep an eye out for that. He knows it's going to be a rough and rugged contest this tonight.
Hammond to Chris Morley, back in the side. Good tackling by Mark Lee and David Hume. Vila Matautia. Good run from Matautia from dummy half, and he's got the pass away brilliantly to Sullivan. And Sullivan, with his shirt off his back, is bundled into touch. David Hume with great enthusiasm, and Fatasini as well.
Tremendous cover defence. It was a beautiful ball out wide. Sullivan knew there was nowhere to go. Sini says, give me your shirt. Sullivan didn't want to, but it's a touchline anyway. Look at the power in those shoulders and the arms. That was the reason why Sullivan had nowhere to go.
Well, Fatasini, one of the discoveries of the past 2 years in Super League, because the St Helens man was bundled into touch. It's Salford who had the head and feed at that scrum, and that's Darren Rogers. That's Gary Broadbent at dummy half, and that's the tall figure of Nathan McAvoy. Perolini is all round him, though.
Big hit from Perolini as well. It was all fair and square, really got the shoulders in. Good run, though, by the look forward.
David Hume, man of the match in the 1988 Premiership Final, for witness against the Saints. And he, like Faimilo and all the Salford side, on the evidence of the opening 7 minutes, are intent on denting St Helens' chances, but Cliff Eccles has gone without the ball.
Well, a bad mistake there by Eccles, but there was the opportunity, and he's got to have pinched the ball there. Well, Eccles saying, well, wasn't it one-on-one? There you could see he went without the football. A bad mistake, really. But why on earth didn't Milo get that ball away? He had the full-back Gary Broadbent screaming down on the inside when he made that half break.
O'Neill was the decoy. It went instead to Goulding, then on to Hammond, and now to Perolini. Good tackling back there by the Salford defence. But can they hang on here to Ian Pickavance? They just about can. Goulding now, and here's Morley. Morley, great tackling by David Hume round the ankles. Matautia again, huge figure of a man. Attracts three defenders to him. Platt was one of them. This now is Cunningham. Cunningham looking to go on his own to the line. And he's held up on his back, is he? He's infield with the ball, says the referee. So it's the last tackle. Play on. Sullivan. It bounces in front of Matautia. And he will kick across the face. It was maybe a good thought, but Phil Cousins was there to cut out the opportunity for Danny Arnold.
Well, what a wasted kick there. There was Cousins all on his own, and he drilled it straight down his throat. The winger was left out on his own, and too eager, the Saints defence. Moving off the mark too quickly. Danny Arnold, one of them. It was a neat kick over the top, but you can see there the referee, Russell Smith, had plenty to choose from. Saints eager to try to suppress this attack by Salford, who look to be on fire at the moment. They are playing confident football.
Andy Platt carrying the ball up as he does all the time. Did for St Helens early in his career, carried the tradition on at Wigan and continued it for the Auckland Warriors before joining Salford Reds the start of this season. One of the big imports, and Steve Blakely comes up with a blunder, just drops the ball. Sean McRae, the St Helens coach, I think he knows that tonight it's make or break time in terms of the championship.
Unforced error there by Blakely. You could see quite clearly that he took his eyes off the football. He was turning his head to look to where he was about to pass. Schoolboy error, I'm afraid. And so early in the tackle count, they could pay the price here.
Matautia again. Good tackling by Broadbent. Nice run from Sullivan. Anthony Sullivan, the Welsh international St Helens winger, came up with a hat-trick against Salford in the Cup semi-final. Was in blistering form that day at Wigan. But that's a great tackle by Platt on Derek McVie. And Julian O'Neill takes the tumble.
Well, as yet we have yet to see something from Bobby Goulding, and no, that's not the best pass either.
It bounced very kindly though for Pickavance in the end. He drops it though.
Play on.
It was back to zero. The ball must have obviously been attempted to be stolen in the tackle then.
It was one-on-one. Eccles dragged it out just before he got the attention of another Salford player. Well spotted by Russell Smith.
So this is a golden opportunity then for St Helens, but that was Perolini who was dragged to the floor by Eccles. Here now is Hammond. Hammond thought about going long and heard the call then from Chris Morley. Gave him the short ball.
The loose forward David Hume was not going to be kidded by that. He stood his ground.
Here's O'Neill again.
Bit of a
prop forward.
Bit of a swinging right arm there.
Goulding. Pickavance. Pickavance with all the strength. Held up by Rogers upstairs and Milo downstairs. And there was David Hume in there as well. Hume, as usual, getting through a ton of work. Chances here. Referee will hand this on to the video ref. And so the Salford players are claiming it was a double movement, I think. But Derek McVie thinks he scored.
So do I. No double movement for mine. See, he swings it right over. Oh, he's lost it. I apologise. As he goes through, he loses it. Rolls away there. Lost, no try. Good work by the defence. Salford really quick to get across. Savelio was one in there. Really went for him to trap it down. Cliff Eccles over the top, catches the arm, and you just see it roll away. Well, it's no try for mine, but will it be a decision that two men trying to drag the ball away? Pretty fine, this one.
Well, the Savelio who was tackling him downstairs, Eccles' arm came across and attacked the arm carrying the ball.
There'll be no try.
What's the video ref's decision? No try. 20-metre place kick. Derek McVie thought he'd got the ball down.
Well, it was an interesting one there. Referee deemed that there was no interference. Playing at the touch, had to play the ball. Silly play there by Cunningham.
Penalty really to Salford.
They really has wasted days. Seen Cunningham just has a little push and the knee. Well, Fatassini quite happy, but frustration etched on the face of the hooker there. He knows his side is under a lot of pressure.
So Edwards restarts for Salford. This now is Cliff Eccles. Defeat at Knowsley Road in April brought an end to Salford's wonderful 5-game winning run at the start of their first Super League season. That was Savelio with the drive. This now is Edwards. He gets the ball away to Broadbent. What a find Gary Broadbent is. Widnes discovered him, sold him then to Salford, and he really has settled into the big time, hasn't he? This is Rogers now, the man who made way for Broadbent and was glad to get away from the full-back role, to be fair. Lee with a dab through. That bounces up. It's all over the show. St Helens have got the ball back.
Well, the Demon knock on.
And against St Helens.
There it is. McVie, the centre, was the first one. It popped up again for the winger Danny Arnold, but McVie knew he had a chance to sneak the four. This will be head and feet to the Reds.
So yet another opportunity here for the Salford Reds. And David Hume back on the inside. It goes to Blakely, but Blakely was trapped. He ran down a blind alley then.
Good work by Pickavans. He knew that Blakely was coming back on the inside when Hume peeled away from the scrum. Great defence there.
Andy Platt picked himself up, bang in front of the St Helens sticks. Eccles into the arms of Lee. That's a good diagonal run from Faimilo, and Faimilo is back where they started. Edwards, they go that way and find Hume. Hume looking to conjure up an opening from somewhere, but the St Helens defence stands firm. But for how much longer? Here's Lee, back to Blakely. Blakely to Platt. Good tackling by Matautia. Shot out of the line.
Tremendous stuff there. The big man playing in the centres really took it on with the prop forward, Platt.
Last tackle here for Salford. Dab through by Blakely. Chase for Seeley. Seeley's after it, and Prescott just had to shovel the ball dead.
Covered it well. Good positioning there by Steve Prescott. Experience telling there. Could see that the man was coming through him. Fatassini. You'd have sensed he was there. Did the right thing. Slid into the barrier, but the experience of the Saints fullback showing.
So it's a goal line dropout from St Helens. Bobby Goulding gets it almost up to the halfway line where Broadbent collects and then sets off Seaney. Kieran Cunningham just stood there and Seaney ran straight into him. At least he halted his charge.
Well, if the brick wall didn't crumble then, at least it moved a few inches. There's a big run from the winger Fatassini.
Faimilo to Edwards at dummy half. Lee, they switch the direction of this attack with Rogers now.
Good play by Hammond, ball and all tackle. Goulding coming to the rescue too.
Lee and Blakely, little chip over the top, looking for Broadbent. It comes up for Broadbent, and Gary Broadbent gets the second Salford try. What a beautiful chip over the top that was. Sensational chip through, and Broadbent read the script perfectly, and the ball bounced magnificently, and Broadbent scored easily.
Tremendous play. Mark Lee yet again. Little halfback, chip over the top. See, does the run around. And the fullback, it was a wicked bounce there. Prescott could do nothing about it, but it was a planned move. Gary Broadbent, look for the run around first. There it goes. Bang. Sorry, it was Blakely that did the run around with Lee. It was Blakely that put the chip over. The fullback Gary Broadbent in for a fine try. The combination of the two halfbacks, Blakely and Lee, puts the fullback in for a tremendous effort.
It's his 8th consecutive game since joining from Widnes in April, and that's his first try here at the Willows, but his second try of the 1997 competition. Well, Blakely hit a wonderful conversion from the touchline. How's he going to do here? Not a problem. Well, what a start for the Salford Reds. They lead here by 12 points to 0. St Helens up against it again.
Tremendous run around, a tremendous chip by Blakely. And well read by the full-back. It was absolutely superb stuff there. They really did do well. They've got everything organised. He went on the inside. What a great start, though, for the Salford Reds. Well, we knew they'd be on fire. They were really up for that game when they played Wigan. And they're up again against the champions, the Saints.
Blakely's kick-off bounces about 4 or 5 times and then finds touch. So the scrum will go down with head and feet to the Saints. Salford from here now will look for a mistake from Salford, from the St Helens rather, at the base of the scrum. Goulding feeds, big push on at the scrum by the Salford 6.
Well, this really is a test now of the Saints' character. And remember Bobby Goulding early in the season, before they even kicked the football, saying that it was hard to win the first Super League trophy, and he knew it was going to be harder to keep hold of it. Well, they're finding that out now. They've got to dig deep.
Julian O'Neill on the halfway line. He's grounded by Edwards. Eccles was in there for good measure. Hammond misses out one and gets the ball away to McPhee. Good strong run from McPhee. He pops the ball up then for Danny Arnold. And here comes Danny Arnold. He then releases the pass to Goulding. Goulding then to Prescott. Now here's Matautia. They're looking to set Sullivan away on this left-hand touchline. But Rogers wrapped Matautia up. It was stolen.
Well, it was one-on-one. If it was stolen, he must have called hell. That's the only thing that I can think of. Rogers is all on his own.
He never touched it. Matautia dropped it for mine.
Well, I think Rogers did have a little bit of a run of it. He obviously called hell. He was on his way to play the football. It's a right decision by the referee, Russell Smith.
So big chance here then for St Helens to reply to this 12-0 lead that Salford have built in the opening 18.5 minutes. O'Neill gets to his feet. Cunningham the dummy half. Here's Goulding. Now Morley. Good tackling. David Hume is an experienced man, but he's, I'm afraid, overstepped the mark, and he's conceded the penalty.
Well, a professional foul, I feel, from the loose forward, David Hume. All the experience there. At 12-0, he probably thinks, I'd rather give away 2 points than a possible 6. I am sure that that is what was going through his mind. 17
years at the top for David Hume, and there was a lot of experience there shown by David Hume. As you say, Steve-O, let's concede 2 rather than 6 and just take the heat out of this situation.
Well, I think he realises also there's an experienced loose forward that he was very fortunate not to be sent to the sin bin for that obvious professional foul. But this man here, Eddie, he really has got to dig deep now and get things working. He's the man that can change the complexity of the St Helens outfit, and they are struggling at this point in time.
So Goulding with the first chance of points for St Helens, and as so often happens, Goulding maybe kick-starts St Helens into action in the Super League. Sean McRae, the St Helens coach, impassively watching on, and the moustache is creeping back. He'll be pleased about that. I think that he's been a little bit unlucky without the tash.
I think he'll be looking at something a little bit more deeper than that, Eddie. The fact that he can't blame a razor blade for their lack of form.
You can't blame a razor blade for their lack of cutting edge. Silence from my right.
Sometimes it's a lot better.
Here to that. This is Faimilo. 12-2. Salford Reds ahead. Just over the midpoint of this first half. Savelio.
Working well as the second rower, Lokeni Savelio. And you can see the Saints' problem. They're hanging back. They are allowing Salford to get over the advantage line with consummate ease. But that is better from Hammond. It's got to be forward. Knock on forward. Doesn't matter, the crowd don't like it. But the referee is correct. Probably why they don't like it. 1-on-1 now. Did he drag it out? Forward pass or scooped away? Well, it's hard to say. Hammond was definitely trying, but the impact is the ball carrying arm at the ground, made the ball come loose.
That's Andy Haig. He gets to his feet. Hammond was dummy half. That was Goulding, and this is McVie. McVie to Prescott. Prescott with one of those incisive little breaks of his. And Danny Arnold had some space to play with out wide. Instead now, though, they come this way with Hammond and Cunningham. Matautia looking to again release Sullivan, but Matautia hanging on. Matautia usually a forward, playing in the centres today.
Well, we said before the game started how the centres, Rogers and McAvoy, would handle Matautia, and up to now they've done a good job.
Offside against Salford, moving up too quickly to cut Kieran Cunningham down.
Good advantage play there by the referee, Russell Smith, realising Kieran Cunningham had gone early. You can see that 4 players had failed to go back the necessary 10 metres. Quick thinking by the hooker, Kieran Cunningham, who last week was getting back to his best.
And David Hume is the man who was picked out for the offside. So 2 penalties that Hume has conceded, close to their own line for Salford. But St Helens fancy taking the 2 again here, courtesy of Mr Goulding.
Well, my mind goes back to last week when Saints played London. London gave away 2 early silly penalties that St Helens picked up those easy 4 points, and it proved crucial in the end.
Indeed so, and it was a try and a goal from this man that salvaged a point against London last week late on. Goulding here though with the important job of getting another 2 points on the board. That's all that's crossing his mind now. Good kick from Goulding. The noise from the tannoy here at the Willows.
Well, it keeps them in touch.
It does.
That is the most important factor, that Saints, even though they are not being allowed to play any open football, it's a good defence by Salford at the moment. But at 12-4, it looks a lot healthier than 12-0.
So the Saints will restart. 5 points adrift of the leaders, Bradford. Coach Sean McRae and just about everyone else believes that they need a string of wins now between now and the end of the season to keep them in with any hope of the title. That's great play though from Mark Lee.
Was it ever? It looked at one point whether that ball was going to sail out on the full, which would have been a penalty on the halfway line to the Salford Reds, but he did well with little half-back. That's better by Saints. The defence is moving up now, they're not hanging back.
Edwards gets the ball away to David Hume. Hammond and O'Neill combine to bring David Hume down. 33 years old, 8 caps in his day for his country, David Hume. One of the great characters of Super League. Him and his brother Paul, the Warrington captain, who we'll see, of course, tomorrow. Chip over the top. It's given Prescott something to think about, but he gets away from Sini. Can't get away from Rogers.
Beautifully weighted kick, but well positioned, the fullback Steve Prescott. He did superbly then. In and out, really left Fatasini for dead.
Goulding now to Hammond. The Hammond and Goulding halfback combination will have to come to the fore for St Helens for the rest of the season. Tommy Martin out, knee reconstruction as a result of playing for Ireland against France just the other week. An expensive trip for St Helens and for Tommy Martin.
Talking of expensive, Eddie, that was a bad mistake by Andy Haig trying to keep the ball alive. Popped up the ball for Salford, more pressure for Saints.
Big opportunity here again then for Salford. Ball popped up for Platt. And Platt is just halted short of the posts. Edwards into the arms of Blakely, on to Lee. And Lee thought about the pass and then thought better of it. Escaped the clutches of 2. And Goulding, ball back on the inside. Rogers picks up the pieces. Rogers, tall figure of a man. Offside, was it? Against St Helens. They all moved up, but no, a head-high tackle.
Swinging arm. Tall man is Rogers, and you can see there, swinging arm of Perolini, made no mistake. Well, this how on earth they try to keep the ball alive, an impossible situation. And McVie came up with a football. It really is panic stuff from St Helens. It'll not be pleasing their coach Sean McRae.
Andy Haig then he tried to get rid of the ball. in an impossible situation. Salford got the possession back, and as a result of that, the swinging arm from Parolini, and Salford's Steve Blakely now has the opportunity to add 2 more points to the Salford Reds score. And Blakely accepts gifts like that. It's 14 points to 4. Salford 7th in the table, leading the champions, and getting their cheerleaders on their feet as well. And their coach, Andy Gregory, always watches from the sideline. Not one of these coaches who watches from high up and keeps in touch with his bench via a walkie-talkie. Andy Gregory loves to be in charge of the action from the touchline.
Walkie-talkie, he doesn't need one. He wants to be able to shout at his players throughout the full 80 minutes. And they know he's out there. Even if it's on the outside of the field of play, they know he's not far from them. He's a wily old coach.
I don't think you'd like that description. He's not that old.
Not young either.
Pickavance, 10 metres inside his own half. Cunningham gets the ball away to Morley. Morley standing in the tackle. The referee says that that tackle was completed standing up when he was surrounded by 3. Good tackling by Savelio again, and also Andy Platt. The Salford pack getting through a ton of work. Goulding with a little chip over the top to Fatassini, the powerhouse winger. Doesn't he love to take them on? Oh!
Well, I can't understand the tactics kicking to the corner of such a powerhouse as Fatassini. I think my option would be kicking the opposite wing. That's the left wing to Phil Cousins. I'm not saying that Cousins couldn't handle the pressure, but of the two, I wouldn't be kicking down the throat of that fellow.
Andy Platt plays the ball to Peter Edwards. Edwards is halted 10 metres inside his own half. Edwards, the man there wearing number 9 for Salford, playing tonight his 54th consecutive appearance. What a record. That's a good kick too. Oh,
what on earth are they doing?
What did Danny Arnold do then?
I cannot believe that.
He's going for the screen.
Well, he wants to see if he wants to see if a stray foot had hit the whitewash. Well, what on earth was Danny Arnold thinking here? Under pressure, Prescott lost it. And that's try time for mine.
Yes, it is. No doubts about that.
Well, they're told as a schoolboy, never ever pass within your own in-goal area. And as a professional, they even tell you don't even pass within your own danger zone. That's your own quarter. This is a gift try. Well, dearie
Nathan
me
McAvoy
today.
has scored it. Nathan McAvoy claims the try. And all we wait now is the verdict of the video referee, but St Helens have decided it is a try. They've watched, as Russell Smith has, right in front of the big screen. And there is the decision. Well, that was suicide from Danny Arnold. He flicked the ball, or he attempted to flick the ball into the arms of Prescott, and it was a gift, 4 points.
Well, it was a neat kick again, over into the corner, applied the pressure. Arnold did well to get through. It was well weighted, but look at this. You could see Prescott took his eyes off the football, so they're both equally at fault. Probably surprised. You could see the fullback, Gary Broadbent, coming towards him. Well, it won't come any easier for the big centre, Nathan McAvoy, than that one. And I think that face says it all. He will have plenty to say when they break for lemons or oranges.
I think he will. But Steve Blakely has the chance now to improve Nathan McAvoy's try. England international, young Nathan McAvoy, only 20. Scored a cup semi-final try against the Saints in March, and 2 tries in the last home game against St Helens in the cup in February of last year, 96. That's another try against the Saints. And Blakely again sweetly sweeps the ball over, and Salford have a huge lead, 20 points to 4.
This is not what you expect from full-time professional players, but it does happen. They lose their marbles, they lose their composure, and they lose the ball. Prescott was absolutely stunned, but did he call for it? Either way, he took his eyes off the football. He could see that Gary Broadbent was tearing towards him. Nathan McAvoy says thanks.
And so to the Salford side, 20 points to 4, and Danny Arnold, I think, will get the rounds of the kitchen from his coach during half-time.
Kitchen, bedroom, you name it, any room, he will be not too impressed.
Well, Paul Newlove out, Alan Hunt, of course, we can't forget that he's still not there. Tommy Martin, Chris Joynt. This isn't the St Helens side, to be fair to them, that won the title last year. But it's maybe the side and the cards being dealt to take on the Aussies in the World Club Championship. But this is better. Matauti, what a run! Morley! Good tackling by Eccles. Good scrambling defence by the Salford Reds. Hammond to Prescott. Now Cunningham pops the ball back to Perolini. Perolini releases the ball brilliantly. Kick from Prescott to the in-goal. Easily diffused by Cousins.
Good position by the winger. Scorer of the first try early in the game. Calm, cool, very composed, but there's a penalty going to St Helens.
Offside.
Obviously someone taken out after the kick. He said they never went back the full 10, so he allowed this to carry on.
They've taken a quick tap penalty, St Helens. They realise at 20 points to 4 with 7.5 to go to half-time. 2's not much use. They want 6. Matauti is looking for the first 4 of them.
Full credit to the referee, Russell Smith. He's allowing advantage. Oh, what a mistake by O'Neill. You call pressure, and when you need to overcome pressure, you're not up to it. What a mistake. It wasn't the best play of the ball. He lost that in playing it. So they're 2 bites at the cherry, and it turned sour on both occasions.
Well, he's hit his average now for mistakes in the match. Offside against St Helens at the scrum. Penalty to Salford.
Moving away from the base of the scrum before the ball was played. They were all offside as well. Over eager. You can imagine there's a St Helens 6-4 on the penalty count, but that will not trouble the Salford coach, Andy Gregory. Look at the scoreline at 20 points to 4.
Eccles, oh, what a run. And he just barged Perolini out of the way. Platt. And a super display from this Salford pack. That's why Blakely and Lee are having a field day.
Tremendous effort. They are taking the ball over the advantage line with ease. Also, they're running the angles. It's not just a fluke, this, I can assure you.
David Hume taking that ball in.
They must have been working very hard on the practice field this week.
Faimilo is hauled down midway inside the St Helens half of the field. Mark Lee with another little kick over the top, and Danny Arnold this time hangs on to the football, but then is all wrapped up by Phil Cousins. Saints have the ball back. This is the start of a very busy bank holiday weekend for them and for Super League. And on Bank Holiday Monday, we've got the Saints against Wigan for you at 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. What a match that is, and what a challenge now for St Helens.
Well, there's one man that can lift the spirits, Kieran Cunningham. He's running from dummy half, but they'll have to get a move on. It's nearly half-time, and at 20 points to 4, they've got to try to get a point, a try, should I say, before the half-time break. Give them some semblance of hope.
Little more than 5 minutes to go to the half-time siren, and Goulding just pops the ball up for Pickavance. He steps through the challenges. Pickavance, good run from him. Not the best pass. Hammond had to apply the brakes, but Hammond is there still in support of the move. It's a good kick into the corner. Arnold's after it, but Cousins just hacks the ball down.
Best passage you play by St Helens the first time. Here you see Cousins getting rid of the football. Kicked it dead in goal. Arnold couldn't get nowhere near. Good positioning by the winger, having a fine game, but that's the first time we've seen Bobby Goulding run across the angle. On that occasion, they brought Pickavants back inside. It was a good, strong run. That will lift their spirits.
Great run from Pickavants. Goulding now trying to rally the troops for a big effort up towards half-time. They've got the ball back here. And it's O'Neill who will take the first drive downfield. Good run from O'Neill. For the first time there, the Salford defenders were hanging off and allowing O'Neill to get up a good head of steam. Here's Perolini now. That's better. Platt in quickly with Cervello.
Well, this is a point where Saints really do have to produce the move, the set pattern, the drive into the corner. Let's not forget the link, or possibly the kick over to the left winger by Goulding.
It's with O'Neill.
That's what they appear to be setting up for.
Goulding's calling, he wants it. There he is. Brings the ball back on the inside to Matautia. Matautia, a huge figure of a man. Salford doing well to hang him up, but they managed to get the pass away. And that is Ian Pickavants. Pickavants with the try, and that's exactly what St Helens needed up towards half-time. They needed that to claw their way back into a match that was in danger of running away from them.
Good play, Goulding running the angle to start with, and then they got the ball alive. It was Cunningham that fed up for Pickavants. This is Goulding's run over, back on the inside. It was good play by the big fella, wasn't it? Super stuff. They went for it big time. Good work there by Pickavants. Watch the angle run. Perolini's strength. Slips the ball away. Cunningham out wide. They run out of numbers, Salford. And for the first time in this game, their defence has been cut to ribbons.
Ian Pickavants' third appearance in the starting lineup with a vital try, improved by Bobby Goulding, and the champions are back, 20 points to 10.
There you see Goulding running on the angle. You'll see the big fella come back, and the prop forward takes it nicely. Just come a little bit too early, perhaps, but he got the ball away. And from this, Pickavants gleefully accepts a 4 points that could turn the tide. That was a desperate try that the Saints needed. That was the lifeline.
And a lovely ball from Bobby Goulding to create it. A great strong run from Vila Matautia. We are a couple of minutes away from the half-time siren. David Hume taking this ball up again for Salford Reds. Been a good first half. A real battle for the champions. St Helens, if they didn't know as they stepped off their coach, that they are in a battle now. Cervello goes down under the challenge. Well, this is the first of 4 matches over this bank holiday weekend, and tomorrow we're at the Stoop for London Broncos against Warrington Wolves, 7 o'clock Friday. Then, don't forget, bank holiday Monday, Saints against Wigan at 7. And we round it all up with Halifax Blue Sox against Bradford Bulls, Tuesday at 7:30. The start of some very important matches in Super League in terms of European honours and indeed the world, as teams from Europe take on the cream of Australia and New Zealand in June. World Club Championship kicks off June the 6th. 2 matches for you then. Brisbane Broncos against London Broncos in the afternoon. And our first match live, we'll see St Helens against Auckland at Knowsley Road on the evening of June the 6th. And let's hope, Steve-o, by then some of the walking wounded are back for St Helens, because they need them to take on the likes of Auckland, Cronulla and the rest.
They sure do, and that could have been the lifeline, that Pickavants try. It will have lifted their spirits. They really did look out of sorts, but full credit to Salford. They were not allowing Saints to move the football.
That's a great kick, that's a hanging kick. Senior's dropped it. He gets it at the second attempt. Dear, that was close.
Too many cooks spoil the broth. I don't know who called. Either way, they were lucky to get away with that one. Broadbent and Fatassini both trying to cut the cake.
Approaching the half-time siren. This is a great break though from Sini. And Sini, has he got the legs? Sullivan's after him. He hacks the ball forward. It's a tremendous kick. Prescott's there, and Prescott is covered by Darren Rogers. That's half-time, but was Sini tackled without the ball? The touch judge is on. The touch judge on this near side is on, and he wants a word with Russell Smith, because as Fatasini hacked that ball forward, he was tackled without it. It could be a penalty here.
Kicks it, Sullivan takes him out. Little doubt for mine. Beautiful run by Fatasini. Realised there wasn't much long to go in the first half, but little doubt that when he kicked it, Sullivan takes him out. Just a little push and pull. I think this will be a chance for Blakely to add another 2 points. Anxious look from Sean McRae.
Yes, it's a penalty. A penalty to St Helens and Sean McRae. Maybe querying what the penalty was given for. Well, it was given because Anthony Sullivan tackled Fatasini without the ball. It was a tremendous run. Then he got the kick in, and Sullivan came just too late.
Sullivan realised as well. He knew that he'd done wrong. He tried to pull away at the last minute, but it was too late. The touch judge, the eagle eye of the merry flag waver, he was on very quickly. Half the players are on their way to the half-time break, but not the touch judge.
Sean McRae had made his way down as well from his perch here at the Willows to the touchline to make the journey across to the other side to the dressing room. And I can tell you that Sean McRae is right behind Steve Blakely here on the touchline, and he will have a terrific view of whether this ball goes over. There's no rush and nothing like that on Blakely's shoulders. He's got all the time in the world, but he's just pulled it wide of the posts. Little shake of the head, rueful shake of the head from Steve Blakely, and Sean McRae goes across to issue the half-time instructions. And I rather fancy the half-time instructions could peel the paint off the Salford dressing room walls. His champions are trailing here again for the second week in a row at half-time, this time against Salford Reds by 20 points to 10. And we'll take a look back at the important moments of the first half when we return.
This summer, Britain takes on the world.
Alan Shearer and co are ready to go.
In sport, there is no greater honour than to represent your country.
And I don't think we should ever forget.
Champions Brazil in the tournoi.
There's real talent in there. There's no doubt about that.
Shearer!
This summer, enjoy true world-class football.
Power, direction, goalkeeper, no chance.
Shearer's in there! And Shearer combine. England have the breakthrough.
This summer, see England shine in the tournoi as Britain takes on the world on Sky. Be there.
Downtown.
www.what?
Look.
The logo's rotating.
That is very cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
You guys do this all day?
No, not all day.
Just most of the day.
Wow, that is very cool. What is that?
The logo's on fire.
Why is the logo on fire?
It's a flaming logo.
Yeah.
We're checking out different business
We're
websites.
trying to determine our website strategy.
Website strategy, huh?
Yeah.
You ever think about using this to sell something?
IBM helps business websites do business.
The Cyclone 6000 Hummer from Qualcast has a red knob. This tells you when the grass box is full. Demand a red knob! Demand a
new Renault Megane Scenic. It talks your language.
When I had the first phone call about extending my friends and family numbers, I had no idea it would lead to this.
Me being the latest edition, I've actually made an in-depth look at what their family circle is really like. So it's been really good for me. No, still marrying.
BT's Friends and Family doesn't just give you a 10% discount, it gives you the chance to win an unforgettable reunion. To join or receive entry details, phone 0800 05 55 55.
Once, she was somebody.
Computers your life, aren't they?
Perfect hiding place.
Now, she's nobody.
Oh my God.
Just give us the disc and we'll give you your life back.
Sandra Bullock is caught in the net. Premieres next Thursday at 8 on the Movie Channel.
Cricket's one-day international series, England against Australia, is part of Britain versus the World, a summer of sport on Sky. And you can see the second game of the series live on Sky Sports 1 at 10:30 a.m. this Saturday. And by the way, we're one up in the series. Right now, though, it's Salford against St Helens in Super League. We're live and exclusive here at the Willows. Half-time, and Salford giving the champions a real fright. 20 points to 10. 3 tries to 1, the boot of Bobby Goulding, and the try from Pickavance keeping Saints in it. Cousins, Broadbent and McAvoy with the tries, Blakely with 4 goals. Could have been 22-10 had Blakely not missed that penalty. But what a match Salford Reds are playing. Second time in a row that we've seen them here at the Willows. First against Wigan, they won then. Now here, they're leading half-time against the champions. St Helens, it's either the Sky Sports cameras or the strength of the opposition. I'm not sure which.
I think I'll take the latter there, Eddie. It was a great performance by the Salford Rods. We said before the start of the game that if their forwards took control, then the 2 half-backs, Mark Lee and, of course, Blakely, would take control, and that is exactly what has happened, and it's panned out very well for them. Unfortunately, and full credit to Saints, they really were desperate for a try. They came back, thanks to that try by Pickavance, when at a point what it looked as though St Helens did not want to know, especially when they went to tackle the big Salford forwards.
How much are St Helens losing, or rather missing, their big guns, the likes of Hunt and Newlove and Joint? And
Look,
Tommy Martin, of course.
When you've got star players out like that, okay, you can say it's a problem, but I'm telling you, the reason why they're not playing well is the fact that Salford are so good. Their defence is very, very good. They got off to a flying start, and it came from a beautiful pass from Mark Lee. And you'll see quite clearly, look at that long pass out there, but this was the beauty. Let's hold it there. There the defence comes through, out wide, missing 3 men. Poor old Danny Arnold, who's not having the best game. And Cousins in for a try. It was a tremendous effort. And this was a close affair by the St Helens second row McVie, but there was little doubt that he didn't get the ball down. But did he have the ball taken away? Perhaps not on that one there. There was never any doubt that that was going to be a try. But Salford, they came very, very into this game again. And again, it was a combination of the 2 players. Long ball out wide, the chip over. You'll see the run around here. Look how the defence comes in. Chip over the top. It's superb, well weighted. It took a wicked bounce. Prescott couldn't do anything about it, but let's not take anything away from Gary Broadbent. It was a planned move. It was a wonderful stuff. And then we had the professional foul, which I think that Hume perhaps could have seen himself in the sin bin for 10 minutes. You saw the experience there. They'd taken a good lead, never allowed the big fella to play the ball Morley. And this, well, this will go down in the annals of one of the biggest boo-boos I've ever seen in rugby league. What on earth was the fullback Prescott and the winger Arnold thinking of? The youngster Nathan McAvoy won't get one easier than that in all his life. Well, look at Pickavance. This was the try that they really needed. Let's just hold it there. We said that Bobby Goulding has been quiet. Well, again, he came into it. The running angle, and you'll see coming back on the inside. Look for Matautia playing out in the centres. There he comes. It's a planned move. He may have just overrun it, but he kept the ball alive. Cunningham slips it through. You can see the Salford defence. There is no one at home. Pickavance, the easiest of tries. And then a little bit of controversy, barely seconds before the half-time hooter. Good run by Fedicini. What a game this winger is having. The powerhouse run He knew that Sullivan was getting towards him. He knew that the seconds were ticking away. Got rid of the ball. Sullivan knows he's made a mistake, tries to pull away from it, but I'm afraid the touch judge was there with the eagle eyes for a change, and he went on. But I'm afraid Blakely couldn't get the 2 points, and they could be vital. Blakely knows that those extra 2 points could make the difference at the end of this game, because St Helens coach Sean McRae will be giving them all sorts of beef in there. I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, he won't be too happy because, frankly, it has not been a champion's performance. But we mustn't take anything away from Salford, having said all that, because prior to Leeds winning here, Steve-O, it's 14 months and I think 21 home league games since they were beaten before the Leeds game here
They were
a couple of
calling
weeks
it the
ago.
Fortress at the Willows, weren't they? And it was not going to be easy. It never is when you play here. They had a very, very strong side. They have got some undersung heroes. We know of the ability of Platt, but the workload of Eccles, the other prop forward, is quite outstanding. They really do know how to put it in. Edwards controlling things at the dummy half situation, but the forwards were getting over the advantage line. The St Helens defence, for some unknown reason, were hanging back. Normally they're very, very quick, especially out wide, to move in and close and make them play down the middle. They were not doing that. And I think that Pickavans try perhaps could be the lifeline that could just allow them back into this game. Salford will be jittery. They'll try to take control, and let's hope they don't just close it down. They've got to force the pass. They've got to play in the way that they've done in the first 40 minutes.
Okay, I wonder if you've seen then a candidate for the Man of the Match award tonight. If you have, we'll give you this telephone number again during the course of the second half. And, well, ring in, give us your name, and you could also win a mini television set, because that's the prize on offer to the viewers' Man of the Match, if you get the name right and your name comes out of our computer first. We'll tell you when to telephone that 0891 number during the course of the second half. And what a second half it promises to be. The Saints, for the second week in a row, have to come behind to claim anything from this match. Is this the moment when Pickavans went over for the try that just gives them the lifeline? See you in the second half, the whole second half coming up.
It's an all-new Sunday on Sky One.
Hey!
New adventures for The Simpsons.
Isn't that clever? It looks like a Cadillac drove right into the building. Help me!
New dilemmas for Gary.
It's a matter of life and death.
New enemies for Superman.
We just have to face the fact we're the target of evil plots.
And new dangers for Agent Mulder.
Max is the key to all this. He knew that plane was in danger even before it took off.
I didn't see any UFOs!
Super Sunday on Sky One.
Page 4W printer, precision 600 DPI laser quality print, and it's smaller than a sheet of A4 paper.
Dan Connor.
Boy, I like a guy with low standards.
I hate him. He's married to my Roseanne.
Breaks up, pal.
Not funny.
Taking a day your mom and
I
me
can
get
be
married.
funnier than that.
Gary's got a reputation.
And I'm better looking.
Man, you two got a lot.
See? And I can eat more than him. So what do I have to do, Roseanne? Give me a sign. Any sign.
Paramount Comedy Channel.
Now, if you're suffering from hay fever, pop down to your local pharmacy and buy one of these. Just slip it up your nose, give it a squeeze, and you'll be surprised how quickly your hay fever symptoms can disappear.
Rhino last hay fever. Ready to control symptoms in 15 minutes. Lasts for hours.
Some gum problems can leave you exposed to the pain of sensitive teeth. Sensodyne is proven to relieve that pain. And now it contains the antibacterial agent triclosan. Sensodyne F gives complete protection to your teeth and your gums. Used every day, Sensodyne F fights pain, tooth decay, and now helps fight gum disease.
Does your mouth rinse leave you gasping for something more sensitive? Use Sensodyne mouth rinse, the gentle giant. Wakes you up gently every day.
The man's a thief who witnessed a murder. Who's gonna believe him? The only thing more dangerous than the conspirators is the witness. You know who did it, don't you?
So will you. Clint Eastwood.
That's entirely unacceptable.
Absolute power.
Summerfield have hundreds of sizzling price check savings. Save at least £1.50 a pound with our fresh rump, sirloin and fillet steak. Delicious mixed peppers are now half price. And with £1 off Summerfield Beaujolais, you save £3.50 on these 3 offers alone.
Price check at Summerfield. Savings that add up.
On Saturday, live sport on 4 channels will have you cheering all day.
Start with Sky Sports 1 in the morning for England versus Australia in the second Texaco Trophy One-Day International.
But then you must decide because...
Rugby Union will take over Sky 1 for the afternoon as the Lions play the first match on their tour.
Choose from a trio of live football matches. Sky Sports 3 goes to Wembley for the 3rd Division playoff final.
It's crunch day for Northampton and Swansea seeking promotion.
But at the same time on Sky Sports 2, you can see the Tennis Scottish Cup final. And that's followed by England against South Africa at Old Trafford.
How can we do all this in one day? Because Sky Sports 1, 2, 3 and Sky 1 are at your service on Saturday.
Another head-to-head in the Britain versus the World Summer of Sport on Sky. England's footballers take on South Africa at Old Trafford. Coverage from 5:30 p.m. on Saturday on Sky Sports 2. Right now we're on Sky Sports 1 with Salford Reds against the Saints. Super League, live and exclusive European style. And the half-time score here, and it's a surprising one. The Reds ahead by 20 points to 10. Cousins, Broadbent and McAvoy. Blakely's kicked 4 goals. Pickavance with the only try for the Saints, and Goulding with 3 goals. And the statistics from that first half. The score important, scrums level, penalties 6-5, nothing to choose. Salford Reds just edging the possession. Kicks in play 6-2 in favour of Salford, and I'm sure that Sean McRae has given his side a real dressing down in the dressing room here, because the championship is very much on the line here at the Willows tonight. Second half on its way then. Salford ahead by 20 points to 10. It will be Salford to start in this second half. Blakely will get the game in motion now, and St Helens in their change strip attacking in the second half from left to right. Anthony Sullivan is the man who has gone off, and Kevin O'Loughlin has come on. O'Loughlin, the Academy International. There is Sullivan just behind Dean Busby on the bench for the Saints. But O'Loughlin, Academy International, wearing number 19, non-playing substitute against London last week. Penalty to St Helens. Meanwhile, interference as Andy Haig was trying to get to his feet from Isini Faimilo.
Bad mistake to give away so early in the second half at a time where Salford really wanted to keep St Helens pegged down in their own quarter. As I mentioned at half-time, Eddie, Salford cannot afford to just close this game down and hang on to 10 points, because St Helens will really come at them this second stanza.
The substitute, Kevin O'Loughlin, almost got the vote from Sean McRae to start in the centres in place of Paul Newlove. Now he gets his chance to shine in the second half. Goulding into the arms of the try-scorer Pickavance, taking on Hume. Faimilo there, and Mark Lee as well. Prescott gives the pass away to Morley. Morley surrounded by this strong Salford defence. Defence that pretty much held firm first half. Goulding under pressure, not the best kick, and Cliff Eccles picks it up and picks up a bang on the noggin for his pains.
Stray boot, not the best kick by the half-back Bobby Goulding, but he was put under a lot of pressure by David Hume, and the big forward Cliff Eccles perhaps just caught a stray boot across the face.
It was a hurried kick though from Goulding, wasn't it? He was under so much pressure to get the crossfield kick in if he could.
Well, he knew it was a bad one as well, but good work by the loose forward David Hume. But he's the key, St. Helens, if they want these two valuable Super League points. Goulding has to get himself more involved. He was virtually non-existent apart from that angle run in the first half. I'm sure that Sean McRae, the Saints coach, would have said, come on, Bobby, get yourself into the game.
By Milo. He gets away from O'Loughlin. He's got support from McAvoy. This will be a good contest. McAvoy against Prescott. He's turning the fullback inside out. Prescott does well. Prescott, with a little bit of help from Julian O'Neill, did really well then to bring him down. Salford, though, on the charge here early with Lee. Puts the kick in. And that's good defence on that occasion from Danny Arnold. He learned the lesson, obviously, from the first half blunder.
Beautiful break, though. But the kick into the corner, and Danny Arnold knew it was there. He knew that Fatassini was on the outside. Oh, Pickavants.
Great run from Pickavants. Good tackle from Broadbent. Bravery from the Salford fullback. Saints have upped the pace at the start of this second half. That is Cunningham to Hammond. O'Loughlin back on the inside, taking on Platt, releases the ball to Perolini. Perolini hauled down by Faimilo and Savelio. McVie dumps the ball back into the arms of Andy Hay. Early score for St Helens, vital in this second half, as O'Neill carries the battle up to Andy Platt again.
Surely a kick from Goulding.
Last tackle, there is Goulding. High hanging kick, looking for the big runner out wide, which is Arnold. He comes up with it, Arnold! Oh, that's a great try if he gets it down, and he has! Danny Arnold, and there's a bit of a shimozzle going on while the referee awards the try. But Danny Arnold, a tremendous take in the air, and David Hume is badly hurt for Salford. Maybe that's what caused all the aggravation over there on the far side. But Arnold kept his cool and plucked the ball out of the air and scored his 5th try in Super League 1997.
Kick on the last. Bobby Goulding said, it's mine. How many tries have they created from this? Beautifully weighted kick. Fatassini looked to have it, but he didn't jump. Arnold did. And as you mentioned, David Hume went under the pile and he's injured. It was a wonderful take. He had a nightmare first half, did the winger. He's repaid it very early in the second half. Superb kick. Goulding, pinpoint accuracy. Little doubt. Downward pressure, control. What a great try.
And David Hume, maybe a cracked rib. Goulding with the conversion attempt. Just misses. But 20 points to 14, that's better for the Saints. And Goulding conjuring up another try. Lovely kick out wide and well taken by Arnold.
See Fatassini, he had his feet on the ground, but this is where Hume got injured, and I think it was a stray knee into the ribs perhaps, or onto the hip. But he's a tough customer.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. He is David Hume. And vital also to this Salford side, his experience. Well, now it's a test for Salford Reds.
Well, they had their chance, Salford. They made that break. The centre, Nathan McAvoy. He turned Prescott inside out, and I don't know why he didn't step on the gas. He decided to step again, look for support, when really he should have pinned the ears back and gone for the try line.
Ball's lost.
There'll be a scrum down. Oh, not playing the ball correctly. That's what it's deemed. Was he interfered with? Eccles says, you've got to be kidding. And there was a hand there by O'Loughlin. It was quite clear to everyone but the officials.
Well, it's given St Helens an opportunity here to get their second try, second half. We'll be talking about that. Andy Gregory most certainly will if they do score. Morley pushes two off him, gets to his feet. Here's Pickavants on the charge to the line. 3 tackles gone, 3 more then to come as Goulding again goes out wide to Matautia. And Matautia with great strength, but a good tackle by Darren Rogers to bring him down. Arnold to Goulding, into the arms of Hammond. Hammond's taking them on, out the back door it goes. Nasty bounce for Prescott. Prescott turning away from danger, but Edwards stuck to him like glue. That's the last tackle. Here's Goulding again. There's a chance out wide here for Haig. It's a beautiful kick, and that's Haig! Haig with the try, and Goulding's come up with another. Well, Bobby Goulding, Steve-O pointed him out before the start of this match as the man who can turn the course of games for the Saints, and he's done it with 3 brilliant pieces of play in this game that has come up with 3 great St Helens tries. Andy Haig with the latest.
Tremendous chip over the top, well weighted again. You could see that the winger, Phil Cousins, allowed this to bounce. Nothing much he could have done without it, but he really should have gone for the football rather than allow it to hit the deck. Pinpoint accuracy again. Came up with it a couple of minutes before for the try for Arnold. On this occasion, it's Haig. Beautiful kick over. Mesmerised Cousins, but not the man who put it down. There he is, the young centre, Andy Haig.
So, Andy Haig's try, and Bobby Goulding now with the conversion attempt from way out on this touchline. 2 points the gap. If this goes over, it's going to be level pegging again, and level pegging again it is. 20 points apiece. The Saints, for the 2nd week in a row, back from the dead.
Now then, was he offside? No. Oh yes, perhaps. It's pretty hard to detect, but let's just take it a bit further. Top of your screen is what you're looking for. I think it's okay. Now look fine for mine. He was in a good position, was the referee, Russell Smith. Well, what a fight back. We talked about the courage that they needed to do it. We also talked about the idea that Bobby Goulding had to get himself involved. And within minutes of the restart, Bobby Dazzler, 2 kicks, Saints level pegging.
Tremendous start to this second half then for St Helens. 20 points all. And whereas last week they got back level pegging with less than 10 minutes to go against London, they've got bags of time left here to come back and win this match. But Salford will have a big say in that. Let's go down to the touchline, and Alistair Mann has got Anthony Sullivan with him.
Clearly whatever the message was in the dressing room seems to be working. What was that message?
Well, I can't repeat some of the words that Sean said. You know, he told us to up our performance individually and as a team, and I think we're doing that now.
It would be a champion performance to come back with so many injuries, including yourself now. Is that very much the test of character of the side?
I mean, you can't take injuries into consideration. The lads that have come in the team are 100% Saints players. They're all earned the position in the team, so you know they've just got to go out in the park and prove it.
And looking at you, you've got a quite colourful bruising on your arm. Where's that come from?
I did that on Friday night, but I've also got a dead leg, so a couple of injuries that have weighed me down today. I'd like to have been out there, but I'm not 100%, so it's best to have 100% fit players out there.
Fingers crossed for Wigan?
Fingers crossed for today first. 2 points here, and then we'll worry about Wigan.
Thanks a lot.
Good hit by Cervello. He really did put the shoulder into that. The ball came free. Salford with a chance now. Saints are struggling to get back.
Edwards into the arms of Lee. This now is Blakely. And Blakely looking to get through this stern St Helens defence now.
Good work by Bobby Goulding. He moved up quickly out wide, left Blakely no chance to go anywhere.
Eccles stands in the tackle, gets the ball back to Cervello. He goes back amongst the heavy traffic again. Blakely to Lee. Lee then to David Hume. Pops the ball back. They keep the movement going. Sini. Fatasini. Buzz around this ground every time he gets the ball. Platt again keeps it moving with McAvoy. McAvoy then to Faimilo. Faimilo to Cervello. If they spread it wide, they might have a chance. Edwards knows that. Edwards spinning away, goes down in the tackle. Last one. Cervello in a dummy half. Back to Lee. Drop goal. 1 point from Mark Lee, the drop goal expert in this Salford side.
That deserved 1 point. That was outstanding football by the Salford Reds. Here you see Mark Lee, as Eddie mentioned, the 1 point expert. There was no one coming to him. Bobby Goulding was too slow. He could not prevent it. But they did deserve that. Outstanding football. They kept the ball alive.
And we saw, of course, on Monday in the Queensland-New South Wales game, the value of 1 point. That won the match for New South Wales, the very first golden point in rugby league history, as Lucchini Savelio makes way for Paul Forber. Was that the golden point for Salford? And the work rate of Savelio, absolutely magnificent in this game. 17 tackles, 14 usually in a match for Savelio, and Paul Forber, the man who brings now fresh legs to the Salford pack.
And let's not forget that it was Savelio's big hit that got the ball free, that gave them the possession to get that valuable 1 point to take them into the lead.
Forber, number 11, straight into the work. Former St Helens forward. Ball spills, finds touch eventually.
Well, trying to keep the ball alive, McVie just came off Cousins, I feel, to start with, but there was never any doubt that Andy Hay got the fingertips to it for the knock-on. It'll be head and feet to Salford. It looks like McVie is leaving the field.
Yes, McVie is going off, and indeed St Helens are making a double substitution here. Andy Northey, playing his last game for a wee while, begins a 4-match ban at midnight tonight. Julian O'Neill and Derek McVie are spelled, and Dean Busby and Andy Northey come on. And unusual, well, not unusual that Busby is on, but interesting in that Busby at one stage, in fact last time we were here, when Wigan were the visitors, the buzz around the Willows was that Dean Busby would be joining the Salford Reds. Well, St Helens turned down Salford's request to take him on loan, so that's why he is still very much a St Helens player. Wearing 13 tonight, and there he is, tackling Isini Faimilo with Andy Northey. Edwards dummy half. Platt now on the charge, gets the ball away to Eccles.
Good tackle by Matautia. Morley went low. Sean McRae knows it's a tense match.
It is, and it's going much better for St Helens at the start of this second half. That just a little bit too deep, but Andy Haig was brave enough to take the gamble, but he got a touch on it.
You drop out from underneath the sticks. You can see kicks up badly. So it's more pressure for the Saints. Salford will receive this football. It was a beautiful kick into the corner. Look how it just bounced up wickedly. Nothing that Andy Hay could do about that. Either way, it was safety first. Oh, it's a beautiful kick.
Sini will run it back.
What a game he's had.
What a game he has, but what a tackle that was from Northey. Oh, swinging arm from Morley over the top of the head of Faimilo.
Faimilo looked at the referee. Russell Smith said, "You got to be kidding."
Platt now on the charge.
Oh, he's led by example. There you see the swinging arm.
Ball popped up for Darren Rogers. Support there from Blakely, and that's Broadbent, and 2 for Broadbent. Second try for Gary Broadbent. Brilliant play from the Salford Reds. 3 great tries from the forwards, and Andy Gregory now with the wide-eyed look because his side have taken control again suddenly.
What a tremendous match. We see Saints come back, the switch of play from Hume. Blakely, the short ball to Rogers, popped it up. Fullback says thank you very much indeed. Tremendous try. Well, we saw them get 1 point with some magnificent football of keeping the ball alive. On this occasion, it's more than one. Blakely, the little short pass to Rogers. And again, he joins in. What a game the fullback's having. Broadbent, what a buy.
Tremendous player. On the 1996 Academy Tour, it was all going so very well not long ago for Sean McRae. Now, Salford are back, and suddenly Andy Gregory is the man in the box seat. Oh, the tension on Gregory's face. He lives, eats, breathes, tackles, kicks, passes, everything for his team. And Blakely now with the conversion attempt. And he's kicked really well this evening. And Salford have built a 7-point lead again.
See the long ball, the switch of play, and you see the Saints defender. He'll come out so quickly. And when he goes, that means they can't get back. He's left in no man land. Tremendous play, though, by Salford. You took the gamble, St. Helens defence moving quickly to force them back on the inside. He'll be happy. And rightly so.
Roaring his team on from the terraces. He's not only the coach, he's their #1 fan.
And the #1 critic, don't worry.
That's true. Well, Steve, I might be terribly biased, but Super League this year, particularly the matches that we have seen on Sky, have produced some scintillating entertainment again. Saints have coughed the ball up. Dean Busby has given it away for Milo, back in charge for Salford.
Well, Busby was looking at the defenders coming towards him. Wasn't the best pass, to be fair to him, but when it's under pressure and it's tense, you've got to take those sort of footballs.
David Hume, all the experience in the world. St. Helens stretched again in defence. It's now Salford who've upped the pace. Lovely working with Lee and Blakely. Forber from 10 metres out is halted within 3 of the line. Lee, Mark Lee, he's in. Mark Lee, the scrum half, formerly with St. Helens many years ago, has scored his first try in Super League. And what a time to come up with those 4 points. Credit the Salford Reds. They've come back like champions themselves.
Beautiful play by the little halfback. You can see that Saints were struggling to get their defence back. Trotting back, you can see switch out there, throws a dummy. Hammond's got no chance. Well, this is a mistake. You can see that Busby should have taken that. They played on, good refereeing there by Russell Smith. This is a try. This could be the moment that takes away that wonderful trophy from Knowsley Road. Let's not talk too soon, but that could be a vital try. You talk about character. Saints showed it in the first 10 minutes after the restart to come back on level terms, and now Salford are bouncing back.
They are indeed, and Mark Lee, in his first start since tearing a calf muscle 9 games ago, has come up with an absolutely priceless 4. And Blakely now, he kicked one in the first half from the touchline. He has to do same again. This time, though, he just pulls it wide of the posts. 31 points to 20.
Defence out wide, Hammond can't fill in. It's too late. The little halfback says, I'm having 4. Good strength. It had to be scored. Downward pressure. Good positioning by the official, Russell Smith. What a game. Seesawing match.
So Salford, who themselves will be involved in the World Club Championship in Adelaide and Townsville, they knew they came into this match needing to restore a winning habit. And St. Helens, the champions, who face Auckland, Penrith and Cronulla in that World Club Championship, they will start obviously as Super League champions, as one of the favourites, but I fancy they will have to up the tempo and get some injured players back before the 6th of June when they take on the Warriors. And we'll see Adelaide against Salford that weekend, 5:30 a.m. and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And in this form, Salford Reds could easily go down under and shock a few. They've beaten Wigan and they're leading Saints midway through this second half.
Tremendous effort, though.
Run.
You've got to give them both sides a pat on the back. They looked down and out, did Saints. They've fought back. Pickavant's try just before half-time showed the character in the side. And then Salford again. How many times have we seen Salford in the past? Would have thought that they'd lost their chance, but they've come back with vengeance.
Who's your man of the match? We want your calls now. 0891 66 55 25. Some candidates, most of them in red jerseys, I fancy, so far, but with a quarter of the game to go and only 11 points, the man of the match could still appear. He could be in a blue jersey.
Oh,
Blakely hauled down
shirt,
by the
on
collar.
the shirt.
Yeah.
He grabbed at it. Morley grabbed at the shirt.
Still a bit painful. Kick slid through. Danny Arnold. Great tackle by Sini.
What a match. talk about the professionalism, you talk about the athleticism of them, and they really have displayed it tonight. The last couple of weeks have just been outstanding.
Really has. Oh, Busby got a bang in the face then off the knee of David Hume, purely accidentally. Northey taking it up. Goulding to Hammond. Hammond then out wide to O'Loughlin. Bags of promise. Kevin O'Loughlin. Perolini. That left thigh of his heavily strapped. One or two of these St Helens players, I think, bringing injuries into this match. High midfield bomb from Goulding. Broadbent went for it, bounced off his backside, he trapped it and he dropped on it.
Well, I can think of better ways to bring the ball under control than the one selected by Gary Broadbent.
Well, if you did that, Steve-O, you'd get the ball every time.
Dearly me, thank you.
I won't tell everybody that you're occupying 2 seats at the Willows here.
It's not that wide.
This now is Sini. It's on row A and B, by the way. This is Former.
Little things amuse little people sometimes, but they're not little people out there, that I can assure you. It's been a tremendous effort by this. Oh, that's play on.
Yes, it is. Kieran Cunningham did well. He stole the ball from Cliff Eccles.
Good work there. You can see Cunningham, he knows they're desperate for possession. They've got to get back into the swing of things, but not panic. We've seen St Helens panic a lot of times during this game. They've got to get back into the swing of things.
Well, it's not over yet because there's only 11 points in it. A try and a goal. And the champions are very much back in the hunt again. And I fancy we have a few more twists and turns between now and 80 minutes and the final siren. Goulding now. That hunchback little run of his. Finds Matautia. He keeps the movement going to Morley. And Morley down the middle. Straightens things up for Saints. 10 metres short of the line. Here's Hammond. They've loaded up out wide. Busby. That's O'Loughlin. Great tackle. Tremendous tackle. Cousins there and McAvoy. Saints though inching closer. Gets the pass away, does Hammond. Chances here.
It's close, but it's short.
Referee calls time off and hands the decision on to the video ref. Because Andy Haig thinks he's got the ball down.
Well, he was unsighted, was the referee, Russell Smith, but I think you'll see that he's just a fraction short. Broadbent gets his leg underneath, and that's sufficient to make sure that the ball gets nowhere near the whitewash. But full credit to the referee, he was unsighted. He's got the technology available. So let's go to the screen, and there's little doubt in my mind that he's inches short. You could see there the body of Smith coming through a little bit late. Pretty difficult for the referee to see something like that. You can see there's a melee of players there, and he just gets round. Why not go to the screen? But I don't think Salford will have anything to worry about here.
This is the one that will tell us.
See how Broadbent does well to get the left leg underneath the football. 1 inch and a quarter short.
Well, that was on the last tackle. That's why Saints ran the power play. They were so close. But were they so near, yet so far? They were. It's the handover because it was on the last tackle. So Salford get possession on their own try line. Andy Haig denied by the video ref. No try. Now then, time for St Helens to defend in numbers and keep Salford penned back there. Here's Cousins. That's 2 tackles gone. That's 3 tackles gone. That's good stuff from Saints. Only 7 metres made. They might make a few more now with Forber, but not many.
Good defence by Saints, so they've kept Salford within their own quarter. That means that when they get the kick in, it'll barely reach the halfway line.
That was a good run from David Hume, though. Here now is Sini. Hacks the ball downfield. Prescott positioned himself well to pick up, and Prescott now will take it back. Remember, this is the 0 tackle. Always worth a little run from the full-back, and even more so now that he's got it away to Pickavance. And here now is Andy Hay.
6 more to go from this one now.
Matautia, as Pedalini goes off to be replaced by Anderson. Remember, he changed the course of the game last week against the Broncos. Anderson. There's a fight in the background. Pickavance having a real old do with Paul Forber. And Forber's looking round and saying, who had that at me? Now he's found him.
Well, if there's any doubt, Paul Forber will tell the referee he wasn't picking out a chocolate out of the box, that's for sure. Picking out the culprit. Well, it'll be interesting to see the replay of this, and Mr. Forber is not too impressed. Keep calm. Well, it's going to get tense. You can see they run through, and there, well, short little right. Keep your eyes on as the ball goes out wide. Watch as they come to it. Forber pushes him out of the way to start with, and then he follows through. Crack. Hit him with a right, then hit him with another right.
Well, if the referee had eyes in the back of his head, they could both be having red cards here.
Well, Forber took the man out without the football, so that means it'll be a penalty to Saints. But there will also be a situation where the retaliator will also be blamed.
Referee has gone to his pocket. Now the thing will be, is it red or yellow? Red! Red for Pickavance. He's off.
Now then, listen to this. When Saints get the penalty, but will he do it that way?
He's gone back to his pocket for Paul Forber now.
Well, he can't send him off for that, surely.
Well, it was the first one from Forber.
Yeah, but he only pushed him, I think, with the shoulder.
I think he's going to put Paul Forber on report because the two skippers are there. And if I didn't mistake it on the high shot, I'm sure that Forber got a swinging arm in on Pickavance first. But Forber goes on report and Pickavance walks to the bat. Watch this.
Well, that's the later incident.
That's the later one, yeah.
It was earlier than that when Forber certainly interfered with Pickavance.
Forber's on report. Pickavance is on the walk and he's in the bat. Well, the referee, by sending a player off, has certainly taken the spite out of that situation. But unless I misread it completely, both of them could have been on red cards then. And David Hume has just copped one for his corner. Well, let's hope that this game doesn't boil over now. That's all we need. And let's hope it doesn't ruin what has been a magnificent contest. Blakely with the dab through. That's bravery from Andy Hay. Put his body on the line then.
Put his body between the on-rushing defence and, of course, the football. Well, it's a test of character on both sides now. Composure is needed by both sides, but more so from St. Helens. They are not out of this game. There is plenty of time left. If they lose their cool, they are just playing into the hands of Salford.
High shot by Edwards on Cunningham. Penalty to St. Helens.
Right across the first now. Let's go back to this Forber situation. We'll see the Forber. We'll go back and see what happened in just a moment in regards to that Forber incident. Well, a crowd are buzzing over that. Pickavance definitely off. Saints down to 12.
And in possession with Andy Northey. Northey broke one tackle but couldn't get away from Messini Familo. Has a little look at referee Russell Smith. Here's Morley. Three of them surround Morley. Tackle him standing up. Matautia now. He picks up pace.
Well, he's worked out as Matautia. He certainly has. Goulding again. What will he do?
Little grubber kick through. It's the last tackle. This, and that's a try. It's a try for Anderson. And Paul Anderson has come up again with maybe the crucial play in a match that looked as though it was slipping away from the champions. He produced a try last week for Goulding. Now it's have one back.
He replayed the compliment. It was a kick. It bounced awful off McVeigh, or should I say McAvoy. It was a power kick. Bang. Look how it bounced awkward. That's play on. And Anderson, as Eddie said, the man who provided the pass, he provided the skill that Goulding made sure they level the scores.
Well, Goulding now can put the Saints within 5 points of Salford. And he does. Bobby Goulding doesn't miss opportunities like that. The 12 men of St Helens are battling back, 31-26.
Well, this is the forward incident. There you see him. Well, he does swing, you're right, Eddie. It was a left arm over. Pickavans didn't like it. And I think Forber will have a nervous few days before the disciplinary take charge of that one. But more to the point, Saints are down to 12. That was the incident, got rid of one of their players, Pickavans. But good effort by the Saints. They bounced back.
How often do we see the retaliator taking the early walk to the shower?
Well, he had to go. He had 2 shots at him. But full credit to the officials, they discussed it. Obviously didn't see it correctly. Not like you did.
Well, only to be fair, only on the replay. I didn't see it first off. But I'm following the ball. I'm not watching for incidents like that. Anyway, let's put that on the back burner for the time being, because we've a tremendous struggle on the way here for the next 10 minutes before time's up in this match. And St Helens, well, this is going to be a test of their character now. 10 minutes to go. The champions trail by 5 points.
Converted try will do the trick for the Saints. And can it be the super sub Anderson again?
Get your votes in now for your man of the match. I fancy he might appear, Andy Haig, dig a hole and jump in.
When the pressure's on, you've got to stay cool and you've got to hold on to the football. He knows it.
Normally faultless in the handling error department, 2 tonight.
And one that could prove vital. Less than 10 minutes remaining. Salford realise that they have got that 5-point lead. And maybe they'll go for the extra 1 point. Remember, Mark Lee, he really is a pot shot for the drop goals.
Cousins drove the first tackle in. That's Blakely. Just lost his footing. 9 minutes to go. 5 points the difference. Hume with the third drive in. This now is Edwards. Here is Broadbent. Ball goes round the corner to Rogers. Darren Rogers. Where's the defence? The defence just comes to the fore at the end. They were so close, they're not done yet, Salford. Trying to get the ball away, cannot do so. Referee's on his way to the pocket. Someone's on his way to the sin bin.
Professional foul. Did not make any attempt to get back. Saints are down to 11.
Bobby Goulding, is it? The captain leaves the field. That's the end of the match for him. Goulding, for the professional foul, takes the walk, and with it, St Helens championship goes with him.
There you see Goulding would not allow him to get and play the football. He laid all over the top of him. It called held to the referee. He still went to scrag him.
And Bobby Goulding to the sin bin. Ian Pickavans to the dressing room, sent off. St Helens now down to 11. And crucially, they have conceded a penalty in front of the posts. And I think the faces on that bench say it all. St Helens' grip on the Super League crown is slipping, and Sean McRae knows it too. A lot of football still to be played, but this could be a crucial moment as Blakely adds 2 more points to the Salford score, 33 points to 26. But maybe the most important statistic is that Salford have got 13 men and Saints now have 11.
See Bobby Goulding, he was never onside. You've got to get back to the line. Even if they're only 6 inches away, you still have to make the defence You've got to go over this white line, the try line. That's why the referee went straight to the pocket. Never any doubt. He took the gamble, did the skipper, Bobby Goulding. This is an uphill battle now. 11 men.
David Hume has run his blood to water, and Andy Burgess comes on for Salford. I must credit Andy Gregory, Steve-O, with the way he has worked his substitutes. And I thought before the moment of madness from number 11 Paul Forber and Ian Pickavance that when Forber came on, that maybe was the crucial substitution in the entire match.
Could very well be. He took off a man that was working very hard, the second rower, Locani Cervello. But Eccles is penalised there. And he's penalised him for having another second shot. And you can see, yep, no, they milked it, but it doesn't matter. When you've done the tackle, you have to release the man.
Here's Dean Busby now.
Desperation. Cunningham has got to start running. Anything, chip over the top, run the angles, but keep this ball alive.
Anderson, another lovely ball to Chris Morley. Cunningham's the dummy half. The 11 men are taking it right to the wire with Cunningham. And he's just held up by Gary Broadbent. Morley again comes back this way. Some tired limbs out there. Salford now defending for all they're worth. Anderson again, all wrapped up. Good defence again from the Salford Reds.
Cunningham from the dummy half. Will he sneak through?
This is the last one. There's Hammond. Crossfield kick. Well picked up. Prescott. Prescott's got O'Loughlin with him. There's a big gap for O'Loughlin. They've got to keep them all going, and they are. Prescott, again, he keeps it moving. Busby, boot to ball. Ping-pong, ricochet. McAvoy picks up.
They
Penalty.
thought it was offside.
He is.
Touch judge helped the referee there. This game is not over. Quick tap.
Here's Anderson again. Back to Cunningham. On to Hammond. Back to Northey.
Some of them players out there can hardly walk.
Hammond. Anderson. Matautia. Loses the ball. Lee has it back for Salford.
You couldn't blame the big centre there. Matautia had to keep that ball alive. Good work by Rogers. You can see him dragging away.
Two-man tackle.
Well spotted there, but he wasn't given. He could have been penalised then. Rogers reefing the ball away with another player in attendance at the tackle. They got away with that one.
They did. McAvoy. Good tackling there by O'Loughlin.
Well, Saints with 11 men. Salford have to drive down the middle and get the link working. They've got to have the overlap out wide.
Here's Faimilo.
Well, there's a hard work from the forwards. Now they've got to use the link.
Knock on against Salford. Saints will have head and feet.
Edwards and Broadbent, the full back, getting in each other's way. And it was Edwards that come up with the error. There's still time, there's still chance.
First handling error of the game for Peter Edwards. Quick try under the sticks now, it'll be all on. Nearly a knock on then against Hammond. This is O'Loughlin. Andy Haig directing operations at the play of the ball. Hammond helps it on to Morley. Good defence.
Been a tremendous battle against these two packs. They really have thrown everything at each other.
Cunningham. Andy Burgess wrapping Cunningham up as he thought about releasing the ball in the tackle. Here's Hammond. He gets the pass away to Haig. Salford close him down, and that little clock in the corner is ticking down. That's the actual match time you're watching. So St Helens have 2.5 minutes to go as Cunningham gets the ball with a bit of space ahead of him. Well closed down by Faimilo. Northey trying to shrug off tacklers here, there and everywhere. No one in support. So he takes the tackle. It was on the last. It's the turnover. And do St Helens turn over their championship chances there?
Good work by the fullback Gary Broadbent and the prop forward Cliff Eccles, who has worked tirelessly. What a great effort from both sides, but you've got to admire the spirit of this Salford side when it looked like Saints came out with all guns firing just after the restart. You would have thought that Salford would have just thrown the towel in, but it shows the spirit, and that man tonight really has impressed me. Fatasini, both in defence and attack.
1.5 minutes left for play. You can bet your life that soon someone in the Salford jersey will put boot to ball. They surely will now on the last, but they don't need to. Saints have conceded a penalty.
Well, it was worth a try there.
Penny for your thoughts, Sean McRae. Such glory last year as Super League champions.
See Northey, they know they're desperate to get hold of that football. You've got to try it there, reefed it away from Eccles. He knows he's having a holiday, 4 weeks suspension.
But Steve-O, I wonder now as we enter the last minute of this match, and Salford look now like they're on their way to a crucial victory for them and for the title race. I wonder whether St Helens now will be just a little bit tempted to concentrate 100% on the World Club Championship and say que sera to the Super League.
No, they won't do that. That I can assure you. Not with a coach like Sean McRae. There's still a long way to go. A lot of football to be played. A lot of things can happen. Saints came here as the favourites, as the champions, but Salford, they've geared themselves up for this.
Salford still aren't finished. This is Cousins. 10 metres short of the line. Cousins gets the ball away to McAvoy. McAvoy to Broadbent, and a hat-trick for Broadbent. Gary Broadbent. And that's it as far as this match is concerned. And is that it as far as the Super League title is concerned for St Helens? Gary Broadbent can't disguise his delight.
They really have impressed me tonight with the way that they've kept the ball alive at all times. McAvoy, good support there by Broadbent. Hat-trick time for the slim full-back. Beautiful play out wide. They really have put it all together. And Andy Burgess got it all started. McAvoy, good support. The full-back loves nothing better than to get in there. Full credit to Saints. Remember, they're down to 11 men. They were always going to be running out. There's always going to be space. Cousins stiff it back on the inside. It was desperation at all times there. Nothing that Prescott could do, neither Hammond. Broadbent, the smile on his face. 3 tonight.
Yes, hat-trick for Gary Broadbent, the Salford fullback. Blakely just adds a little touch of the icing. And what a win this is for Salford Reds. It's got to be full-time, surely. And there is the full-time siren, and Andy Gregory, who plotted the downfall of Wigan, has plotted the downfall of St Helens and Sean McRae, and even so he's so disappointed. McRae taking time out to sign the autographs of the young supporters. Great win for Andy Gregory in Salford. We will have Andy Gregory with us, by the way, at the Stoop tomorrow evening. He's our guest on the programme for London against Warrington. He will be full of himself after this. Andy Platt has come up with his first win as the new Salford captain. Salford Reds 39, the champions 26. Who's your man of the match? Find out when we return.
This summer, Britain takes on the world.
Alan Shearer and co are ready to go.
In sport, there is no greater honour than to represent your country.
And I don't think we should ever forget our...
This summer, enjoy true world-class football.
Power, direction, goalkeeper, no chance. Shearer's in there! And Shearer combine. England have the breakthrough.
This summer, see England shine in the tournoi as Britain takes on the world on Sky. Be there.
Citroen Saxo BTS is a Saxo, but with a bit of the devil inside it.
Remember how Cheltenham and Gloucester mortgages are so streamlined? With no valuation fees, no mortgage indemnity premiums, and there's no need to buy your insurance from us. All we do ask is that you pick up a cash gift of up to £7,500. It's what makes C&G mortgages so rewarding. Call us now for all the details on 0800 333 900. Or sail into any branch of C&G or Lloyds Bank. Cheltenham and Gloucester, run to make you richer.
The Cyclone 6000 hover from Quadcast gives you 6,300 revolutions per minute. Onwards and upwards, over slopes and banks, we mow the grass so easy, the people give their thanks.
Hoots, mum, there's juice, loose, about this house. Set the juice loose!
Why are you driving?
When mobile manager systems could make the journey unnecessary.
Why are you flying?
When you could hold a video conference instead.
And why are you working late?
When something as simple as email can keep you in the loop. Why not change the way we work? For a guide to how you could take advantage of communications technology, call BT on 0800 800 800.
What a game here at the Willows, and Salford have won it by 39 points to 26. And Gary Broadbent got the hat-trick, Cousins, McAvoy and Lee. Blakely kicked 7 goals, Lee the drop goal. Saints, Pickavance, Arnold, Haig, Anderson, Goulding kicked 5. St Helens, the champions, finishing with 11 men when Pickavance was sent off and Goulding went to the sin bin. Plenty to talk about here, and now your view as the man of the match. Broadbent, 23% of the votes. Lee, 26%. Fatassini, 33%. He's the man of the match then. No wonder he caught the eye. Didn't he play well? He's talking now to Alistair.
Well, Fatassini have been voted our man of the match by the viewers. There's a video, commemorative video, and a mini television for you. What were the feelings? It looked like an intense battle out there.
Well, first of all, I had to thanks for, it's a great man of the match I've got here. I didn't expect we were going to get it because, all the lads play well, including myself, and, put credit to them. And, the club as well, a big effort. And, this is my main aim is to beat St Helens, the home ground, which is, it's great. I mean, I suppose this is the highlight of my year, I suppose, in Super League. So thanks very much for the award, whatever is going on.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Good on you, Fatassini, man of the match. And Mr. E. Chubb from Surrey is the viewers' man of the match competition winner. Well done, Mr. Chubb. The mini TV is on its way to you in the next couple of days. Just give us a bit of time after the bank holiday, because we're a bit busy just now. But what a start we've had to the bank holiday weekend in Super League. What a game. And well done the Salford Reds. They deserved the win, Steve-O. They battled and wouldn't be put down.
I think it showed a lot of character from both sides. It would have been quite easy for St Helens, perhaps. They went down 20-10 at half-time, but they did come back. They really bounced back with 2 great tries. But there again, we saw talking about the depth in regards to the Salford side. For many, many years, teams who know that they've got a good lead and it's dwindled away, they come back and you get a situation where psychologically you feel as though you've done your best. But Salford really got into it. But I think this also had a bad influence on the game was the incident where Forber and the retaliator Pickavance. You'll see here that Forber comes through. There's no need for that. There's definitely a holiday beckoning for that fella, in my opinion. But the retaliator on many occasions, naturally, Pickavance did not like what had happened. Bang. So Forber gave him 1, and I'm afraid Pickavance decided to give him 1 extra. And I think that really did show the frustration on the St Helens side. I think the game was actually won by that point. Then we saw Bobby Goulding, of course, who went to the sin bin. There was really no hope by St Helens, but there was a lot of courage shown from both sides. But we said before the game that Salford, if their forwards could lead the way, then they could pave the way for the three quarters. Lee and Blakely were quite superb, with man of the match Fedicini, but it was a team effort from Salford. We knew that Andy Gregory would have this side up for this game. He loves nothing better than to beat the tall poppies. He likes to beat them, and he's now done Wigan and he's now done St Helens. It's not going to be easy for any club coming here.
Indeed not, and let's take a look at what that means to the table. Well, Salford Reds have moved now into 4th place. They've played exactly the same number of games as the two above them, Saints and Leeds, but Bradford Bulls, it's looking a bit pretty for them, isn't it? They have got 20 points from 10, and they have a game in hand at the top. That's the way it looks at the end of this, the first night of our bank holiday bonanza of Super League. What's coming up? We have London against Warrington Friday at 7, and guess who's the guest with us in the studio? One Andy Gregory. And as I said in commentary, won't he be full of himself at the Stoop? Join us at 7. Bank holiday Monday, we'll see what the Saints have got left in the tank when they take on Wigan in the ultimate